Hello and welcome to Universal Love Law. Thank you so much for joining me today, where I will be basically discussing the reincarnation cycles, incarnation cycles, and the ages that we incarnate, okay? So a lot of people have like some past life trauma, a lot of people have memories from war times, and they're like, where do I get these memories from? So I'm going to incorporate an astrological viewpoint, which are the ages, okay? Excuse me. When it comes to the age that we're in now, we're in the age of Aquarius. So let's jump right on in. So first and foremost, we're going to start with the soul. So here we go. We got some souls here. They're here, right? And they're here on a mission to incarnate. Where do they choose to go? They come here to Earth. So let's bring a really big line down to this space. Now, this space is very important because this space actually also will be our map. And not only will it be our map of where we are, but it will also be our map of time. Okay? So I will be breaking this down from an astrological space in time so that people can understand the incarnation, reincarnation cycles on a macro level. Because I think that people are entering into understanding astrology, and the new age of Aquarius is bringing in the ancient knowledge that has been buried and hidden. And so now it's a good time to start bringing clarity. All right. So I'm going to scoot this back. Sorry, guys. There we go. So I hope you all can see this visual that I have here for you all today. So what we're going to do is we're going to split this into 12 equal parts, okay? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, let's try this one. 12. Awesome. So now you guys can see here is source creator of all, where we all have separated from that void, needing the experiences, of course, for our souls, for our individual souls, our soul groups, and soul clusters to evolve. So the reason why we incarnate here is for experience. There is certain levels of experience that Earth can give us that other places just will not be able to do. There are different spaces that exist where there are soul clusters and, having different experiences and fulfilling different missions. And life is endless. I just want to let you all know that. So first and foremost, I want to let you guys know where we are. So we're in the age of Aquarius. So I'm going to put Aquarius right here. Aquarius. So this is where we are. We're at the age of Aquarius, the time of technology, the time of groups, the time of social connections, the time of source, like energy sources, free energy sources, connections with people that are a part of soul groups, okay? So this is why a lot of people are feeling like they have a strong desire to attract to their soul tribe. They feel like they're trying to, be connected with some people that are all over the world, right? We connect to people that are a million miles away from us when we connect to our soul group. And the family dynamic isn't as prominent as it was in older ages or different ages. So the age of Pisces is the age that we just left, right? So this age, a lot of souls incarnated during this time. So this age will last. First and foremost, I want to let you guys know that age of Aquarius will last for about 2,000 years, and then there's a grace period, okay? So ultimately there are it takes about 26,000 years for a full life cycle. Okay? So a life cycle takes about 26,000 years. Can you believe that your soul may have reincarnated over the ages of 26,000 years? So what's happening is we are all here collectively evolving, okay, on a micro level and a macro level. Each time brings forth a new set of principalities, a new set of experiences for the collective, for the whole. And so during the time of Pisces is during the age of a lot of things. A lot of things were happening during that age, okay? A lot of people incarnated during that time, okay? I know I've been incarnated during the age of Pisces. So what does that mean? That means that during this age, people were really into religion. Okay, this was the time of religion, and when the religions were really born and birthed. Now, remember, like I said, Aquarius will last for 2,000 years. There's a lot that's going to happen and be brought forth during these times, okay? So there's a lot that we have to do as a collective. We're going to eventually begin tapping into remembering that we have all been incarnating here multiple times before, so that it will be easier for us to make sense of where we're going. But in order to know where we're going, we have to know where we have been, remember? So this is the reason why times are where people are kind of letting go of religious beliefs is because the Mayans are very important. Let me put them in right here. I'm going to put the Mayans into this space. Now, the Mayans are a race of beings that come from a different star system, okay? They're different in their essence, and they came here with a purpose to lead the younger ages into the hold on, I just realized I spelled that wrong. To lead the younger ages into the age of Aquarius in remembering, okay? So the Mayans brought forth the calendar that ended the 2012 time period, right? So 2012 was the estimated time in which the world would end, but actually what was happening is we were entering into a new age. So as we all evolve and as evolution evolves, there are different souls that come and incarnate for different reasons. This is what I was getting into before about soul groups and those different purposes. And so they created a calendar that was basically read from the solar system, right? Their calendar was created from the solar system, and a lot of the religious era was used green. We're in Aries. So there's a time in Aries is when a lot of the darker forces were coming in. This is the time of the patriarch. This is when the patriarch was formed. But I'll get into that momentarily, okay? So let's go back to the Mayans. So when it comes to the Mayans, they created the calendar for us to let us all remember that we are entering into a new age. As you guys can see, the age of Pisces is the age of Aquarius is a time where a lot of people we're all tapped in tune over the internet. We're all utilizing Aquarian type energies, but a lot of things are happening very strangely, and there's a filtering stage, okay? So like I said, there's 2,000 years, remember? There's 2,000 years that Aquarius will be, we will be ushering out the age of Aquarius as a collective humanity. But the thing, and only the strong will survive. I want to let you guys know that now. because the consciousness depends on it. If you have a old age consciousness, eventually the new age will be too much to bear. Biologically, physically, it will just completely destroy people, because it's hard to transition for those people that are holding on to old belief systems, old ways, all of those things, right? And so when it comes to the 2000 years, what was happening between that 2012 time to where we are now today, where we're in the age of Aquarius, is there's a like a pre-shadow. Just like with the Mercury retrograde, there's like time that that it's really strong, and then it's times where it's milder, right? And so for this situation, the Mayans actually were kind of getting us prepared for the changes that were yet to come. A lot of souls were incarnated in, and they completely surrendered. Okay, they surrendered. This is Age of the Pisces, is the age of the victimhood. It's the age of the sacrificing, the self-sacrificing. Remember, Christ's consciousness, right? Christ's consciousness was the age of Pisces. Okay, this is when religion was here. Let's put that there. So this is the Christ consciousness. Okay, so during that time, a lot of souls were incarnating, and they were, there was slavery. A lot of souls incarnated. They may have past life regressions where they heal some slavery times, things of that nature, right? But it's really important to know that before Pisces, I know you guys may notice that the wheel is moving backwards, okay? So, yeah, and when we go through the ages, this is clarification for those of you who are like, how is the next age going to be Capricorn, right? Because that means that we're moving backwards. Usually the next age would have, if we're in the age of Aquarius, Pisces would have been next. But that's because everything's backwards in the way that we view things, because of, that's another story, because that gets into the whole understanding that the understanding of humanity's collective consciousness was completely destroyed during the age of Leo, which I will get to that too, during the Atlantis times. Okay, so let's keep going. So first and foremost, there were souls. Remember, these souls are incarnated. You, me, all of us, we were incarnated in these times as we evolve. We're just evolving into the age of Aquarius. Souls choose to incarnate on the earth plane, or they choose to incarnate on Mars, on Pluto, on Saturn, on the sun. There's sun beings. There's all different type of beings, and souls incarnate wherever their hearts, not hearts, but wherever their, whatever their soul, their evolved soul wants to experience, that's where they will incarnate, okay? But incarnations are the first time we come. So reincarnations are when you come again and again and again, okay? And so this is what differentiates a young soul and a baby soul and all of those things, right? A mature soul. But the thing is, we all separated from source at the same time, okay? So no soul is like straight from source, fresh from source, like right now. No. The separation that was created, the split, the void, the flower of life, when the dimensions were created and going within and without itself, right? The contrasting, and to where we were to where individual souls were created. It's just all about finding oneself back to source. Now we're all tethered to source, remember, from our brains, from our minds, just like an umbilical cord, from our third eye, the pineal gland, okay? So this is also knowledge that was hidden in certain time periods, right? So, but I'm going to go to it. So when we're looking at the time periods, and some people are really stuck on certain time periods, like the Egyptian times, where, the Sumerian times, or like the Holocaust times. Like, in different ages, like some people's soul memories are stuck from different times that were so traumatic that it needs healing so that we can all evolve, right? And so when it comes to the age of Pisces, of course, there was a time, there was all of these things, all of this enslavement, all of this strict beliefs, religions, and things of that nature. But before that was the age of Aries, okay? Remember, all of these years are moving about in a 2000 year time span. So this was about 2000 years. Now remember, I also want to let you guys know 2000 years. There's a pre-shadow that takes a while, okay? So it's not just 2,000 years and then boom, we're into a new age. No, we have to issue in the new age and that's what we're doing right now. We're issuing in the new age. We're giving up knowledge. People are connecting to their tribes, to their groups, and feeling a sense of unity. Now, when it comes to the Christ era, the Pisces era, the age of Pisces, Christ consciousness, and things of that nature, that lasted about 2,000 years, but that's not including the pre-shadow. That's not including the age before. So we're moving in this video. What I'm doing essentially is we're moving backwards, but we're really moving forward. And it's so confusing, right? Because we're actually moving backwards from our perspective of what we think comes first and what comes last. Okay? I may have lost a lot of people, but so the age of Aries brings forth another 2,000 years of incarnations of souls. Some souls have experiences where what is Aries energy? Aries is Martian, right? It's ruled by Mars. It's masculinity, okay? Whereas Pisces is the feminine energy, but it's also the sacrificing energy, the age of deception. There's a lot of things in that age period where the collective, the masses were not lied to. They were just like manipulated, okay? The information has always been there. It's like they surrendered their power, okay? It's a surrendering energy that is, we're not, and this is the thing too. A lot of people are getting lost in this Illuminati, and they're on their way. That's because they're trying to make sense of the changes that are happening from a religious background. So they're like, the only way that they can make sense of it is saying, like, they're justifying it by focusing on the darkness that's happening in the industry. But really, is what's happening is there's a change happening in society, in the world, and the old ways are breaking down, okay? And we're moving into this new age where there's going to be a new set of systems. And a lot of people that are like, I have to speak for, people that, may watch my channel and say, oh, hey, she looks like me, black girl, there we go, talking about astrology, let me see. And then boom, they realize, okay, maybe it was my religion why I was coming from a place of fear watching all these Illuminati videos, because I was thinking from a perspective that once you die, you either go to heaven or hell and things of that nature, when no, it's just a way to keep us into the religious confines. It's just a way to keep the Pisces, the beings that are at bay and trying to have control over humanity. That's where they're trying to keep this mindset of religion and heaven and hell and things like that, when we're actually ushering in the new heaven. We're ushering in a time of enlightenment, okay? And there is an ability to be enlightened in the age of Pisces. A lot of people were enlightened, but they were ridiculed. This is the witch era, okay? They were going on witch hunts and killing people that knew of this enlightenment, okay? It was a very difficult time because the truth was being submerged, and it was being, souls that were incarnating during that time, they were just being completely ridiculed for their knowledge, right? And that's so messed up. Okay, let me go get some tea. hot water for my tea. So now we're understanding the age of Pisces is where we're leaving. We're ascending from there. But before the age of Pisces, what ushered in the age of Pisces was the wars of religion. Okay, so the age of Aries was the age of the patriarch. Okay, it was the masculine dominance time. So there's a lot of souls that have incarnated here that have had experiences as warriors. If you don't believe me, check out Astro Einstein. He does past life regressions, and he did a past life regression with a Caucasian man, a white guy, and he was a Spartan in his one of his past lives, in his one of his reincarnations, and he had a he was hypnotized, and he experienced his past life. So he was living, and he incarnated in the times of the patriarch, the age of Aries. So his memory, this is how you know the soul lifetimes exist for a long time. Okay, so let's get back to it. The age of Aries brought forth the time of the patriarch. What were they doing? They were issuing in religion. So remember, for those years of reigning over people and keeping their mind controlled, right? It was a fight for that. There had to be a fight for that, and there was fights for that all around the world. This is where civilizations were kind of like categorized in order to give them a religion. Okay, so they were going to fight for their religion, and there was this whole purpose in that. So there are souls that may have those experiences connected to the age of Aries. Okay, were there spiritual people in the age of Aries? Absolutely. Throughout humanity's evolution, throughout the evolution of time, souls have been reincarnating here with these gifts and abilities. Remember the witch era. They were killing witches in the age of Pisces. They were killing people that have these spiritual gifts because they knew that age of Aquarius was going to usher in this information. Okay, so now let's move on to the age of Taurus. So Taurus, this is a really interesting time where it was before the issuing in of all the religion and all of those things. It was a time where civilization was valued based on what is Taurus energy. Taurus is the bull, okay? And during this time, this is where a lot of the old rituals that we see happening now with the goat blood and things like that. This is the time where souls were incarnating, and there was a value system based on your stature and what you had, not money. Money, like the physical fiat currency, was more towards an Aries time, where there was physical coins made and like things that were created that were equivalent to money, fiat currency. Whereas Taurus energy was more like the times of what you had. Okay, so this is a really important time to understand, because this time ushered it's the reason why we see all of these strange things happening in like Illuminati and all that stuff, right? You're like, oh my god, like all this worship of these beasts and things like that. Well, at this time period, a lot of people they didn't have this money. It was more like famine and like poverty. It wasn't as rich as it was like becoming, like Aries, age of Aries and things. It was a more quality of life, right? The hierarchy was at a very high point, which is actually the patriarch is kind of falling now. It's kind of crumbling now. But remember, I have to go up and down, up and down, up and down, all through, so you guys can understand. But when it comes to the age of Taurus, that was the age in which what you had, your material values, or is what one would perceive you and your status, okay? So there was a lot of fights that were happening, stealing, thievery, things of that nature. So a lot of being stoned and things like that. There weren't weapons and things formed during this time. Well, there was always weapons, okay? I just want to get that out. But when it comes to the military, the war, that was really issued in during the Aries. So during the war times, okay? But when it comes to Taurus energy, it was the age where people valued tangible items as wealth. That was the trading, and that was the things of that nature. Women also were very valued as well during that time. The family unit was valued that well at that time, and but it was more so an emphasis placed on sustaining a lifestyle that was um, um, materialistic, because there was a desire to have this old way, which is far be. I will get to that point. The old way was this very wealthy place. We had far more advanced technology and all of those things. But I'll get to that because we did have a very challenging time in the lifespan and evolution of humanity. But when it comes to the Taurus energy, during this time, people were really set on their morals and values were really set on living a lifestyle that was filled with material wealth, which in that time was your animals, your crops, because remember, famine has plagued the planet Earth throughout eons, throughout eternity, because, well, not throughout eternity, because that means more like infinity, like forever. But no, like in the past, there's been a lot of times where famine completely destroyed civilizations, okay? So this was a time where people were holding on to what they had that was a material, tangible value. When it comes to silking and threading and creating clothes, and all of these things are all the things that we would value now, right? These were a very, very important during the age of Taurus. When it comes to the next age, it's the age of Gemini. So let's do Gemini. Ooh. Gemini. This was a very, very important time where souls incarnated. Remember, you, me, we. No, remember, all souls are not very older souls, but there are some souls that are a little bit, they've been here more times. They've incarnated on planet Earth more times, right? But in order to really know where we are, we have to know where we have been. And this is a very important age. I'll get to it when it comes to the age of Leo. But let's jump into the age of Gemini. So when it comes to the age of Gemini, this was a time where before this is when the separation when it comes to civilization was very, very big, right? Because the age of Gemini represents separation. It represents duality, okay? So this is when civilizations were formed. There was written information. And there was means for short distance travel. So boats and things like that. Trading of materials. So boats, traveling. There was also a sense of trading. trading of resources. This was a time of resources. And so it really, the values, so if you think about it from a time perspective, when we're figuring out where we are to know where we are, we have to know where we have been before the age of Taurus, where we really held on and we had those experiences of famine and those experiences of losing things and those experiences of trying to figure out as humanity how to create a civilization that is more effective and essential for us. The age of Gemini was a time where all of those works were actually being established, right? So there was information like our information that we still have to this day, or like that we have intact, usually is created from the time of Gemini. So a lot of philosophers were incarnated during this time. A lot of people that were predicting the future based on where they are. These visionary people who are trying to envision a society that is new and is completely different from where they came, which I will get to that. But there was a time where this age of Gemini brought forth a lot of resource trading. So before there was physical money, before there were coins and things like that, there was trading. Now it was a lot of chaos during the age of Gemini because, of course, Gemini kind of replicates the age of chaos. Because of the planet in which is ruled by Mercury, that is where it's a lot of information. So the age of Gemini was the age of information. The age of Gemini was the age where there were these revolutionary thoughts, these envisionary thoughts of how civilization can change, right, for humanity. So the age of Gemini brought forth that written information, those physical forms that we are in museums today, right? That have information about our past and our future, in which times were headed. The age of Taurus was 2,000 years. The age of Gemini was 2,000 years. Oh, let me see. I'm gonna use green. So yeah. So the age of Gemini was 2,000 years. 2,000 years with the grace period not included, right? And not the grace period. So moving up, one can truly get the picture when it comes to understanding that we went from a time where civilization was actually formating and groups of people were separating, okay? There was this duality. There was forms of information or means for short distance travel. So there's where the transportation at this time was being envisioned, right? And then the age of Taurus is when the value systems, of course, were truly being implemented based on what you have and what you're worth, what you have, right? Moving up into the age of Aries, where it was a fight for control over the generations to come with this implementing of religion and the patriarch and women being stepped on and triumph, and it's all about the man. And these are where a lot of those past life memories come from for some people. Moving into the age of Pisces, when there was a fully enslavement on humanity, the deception era, the era in which religion was completely keeping people confined to different laws and different rules that were issued in from the age of Aries. Moving into now, where the Mayans brought forth the memory for us in the ending of the Mayan calendar, reminding us that the new age is approaching. Now let's go back down to Age of Gemini. What issued in this civilization, this separation period, or this period in which souls were incarnating and feeling this desperate desire, need to evolve or to expand or to branch off and to envision a future where they were learning how to get along or have relations with people through trading and things of that nature. And two, how did it get there? From the age of Cancer. So a lot of people talk about the age of Cancer because the age of Cancer, there are a lot of divine feminine energy that is connected to this age, the age of Cancer. So remember, we're almost at to where we are versus where we come from. This is the rise in which we remember and that we accumulate information from all of these time and records in history. And all of this time we're connecting information on we're connecting all forms of information from a spiritual aspect, from a spiritual viewpoint, from an astrological viewpoint. We're able to connect the dots and remember what we're doing here and stop fearing death. Stop fearing death as an end all be all. That was Age of Pisces issues, okay? Those are fears that have been ingrained in us, and there are people who incarnate that are afraid of boats. Why? Because maybe they were thrown into the oceans, okay? Maybe they were the ones, those slaves thrown in the oceans, eaten by sharks, okay? The reincarnation system has its own reason in which it's happening. The reincarnation cycles is a wheel, but I will get to that in a minute. Now, this was a good time. It was a good time. It was a time where the feminine energy was embraced. So I'm going to say feminine energy embraced. Whereas Gemini, Taurus, Aries were Gemini moving into Taurus, that famine, that hardship, the values placed on what you have, and moving into the war, into the implementing of all of these different controlling systems. These were the dark ages, okay? These were medieval times, okay? Moving into the age of Pisces, where we were breaking into this new enslavement, this new indoctrination that, was pushed for the 2,000 years. Moving all the way to where we are now. Now, let's move back to the Cancer and age. The Cancer and age is a time where the feminine energy was embraced due to the age of Leo. There was a lot of challenges that happened that completely broke down the structures of society. And so the age of Cancer brought back a time where there was needing to be balance restored, but it was more in a way that was embracing the birth of souls coming in. So the mother energy, the connection to the divine, right? Women were appreciated and worshipped and loved and cared for during this time because there was a lot of stuff happening in the age of Leo that created all of this ego, all of this drama, all of these problems that issued us into a time where we needed to go back to the nest, go back to the home. So there were a lot of divine feminine that were incarnated during this time, and there were masculine men that were balanced, okay? They understood the power of the matriarch. They understood the power of the feminine energy, okay? So there were divine high priestess, okay, that were incarnating in the age of Cancer, and there was a connection to source. There was a connection to the intuition, the internal feelings of restoring, okay? It's like cleaning your home and restoring your home for anew. There was a lot of devastation that was brought forth in the age of Leo to where there needed to be a restoration, okay? So the restoration was the period in which Cancer was matriarchal, okay? The family unit was very important. Restoring the value systems of families was very important during that time. The homes were very important in that time. This is where we were able to recreate the way that we lived. Families were in community based homes, okay? So whereas like now everybody's like all split up in individual, which is the times, it is the times for that, but in this time there were community based homes, okay? Homes where the whole family was a village and the whole family worked together. There were also people who were very divinely connected, divinely tapped into source. And women were actually worshipped during this time, okay? Because they were the creators. And so this was a time where spirituality was at a very high peak. But it was out of desperation of where we had come from, which I will get to that. So there was a very emotional wound. There was an emotional wound that was being healed during this time, okay? So the emotional wound, right? The communities, the family communities, family base communities, the connection to mother. So there was a very important, it was a very important time. Now, how did this look during the pre-shadow stages? The pre-shadow stages between Cancer and Gemini was a time in which there was the family unit breaking apart. There was a desire to branch off and to explore. The Fool, right? The one wanting to experience new beginnings and brighten their horizons with no direction, no compass. Okay, no, it wasn't the Sagittarian energy where they know where they're going. There's a purpose in which where they're going, right? That's in the ages to come, okay? But there was a lot of great things happening in the age of Gemini. Remember, everything's a cycle. So when it comes to Gemini again in this futuristic thinking, you can only imagine the information that will be brought forth that 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, that 15,000 years from now, okay? During the ages, these ages in which we didn't get it right in this time because there was a fall, okay? And this is a very important part, and this is very important. So when it comes to the age of Cancer, there was the pre-shadow was breaking into a new getting off of the breast, going out of that house and going to see what's happening out here. What is happening? What's going on? I want to know. Right? Like we need to connect with people. You know, we need to go see what that village over there is doing. You know, that's when the Cancer, the sacred family roots were moved into this desire to want to expand and experience and explore and compare and contrast, creating these new ideas in this form of the future, right? And then moving into, of course, the age of Taurus, where the values were placed on what we had. After the age of Gemini, where customs and trading and things of that was all being brainstormed, it moved and issued in the age of Taurus that brought famine, okay? It brought forth times of hierarchy based on what you had and what this family had, and this family had this, so they're more of a higher status, okay? Your status was reflected through your material wealth, and then it moved into this age of action. Let's take action. Let's get this started. And this is where a lot of the times where, you know, this speaks of times of Egypt. Okay, this speaks of times of Samaria. This speaks of times of when the wars were happening everywhere, that were implementing these different forms of indoctrination. And then it moved into the actual physicality of the indoctrination. So all that fighting led to this. And then moving into, of course, where we are today, where we're breaking out and we're remembering this time. We have to remember there was pivotal points. There were timelines created. There was information buried and hidden. And as we rise, the vibration in the sun, the solar, our solar, where okay, so the sun has a very important role to play when it comes to the planetary system, okay? Because the planetary system, our sun is connected to source. Imagine it's connected to all suns. Our sun is not the only sun in the galaxy, okay? So there are these are different dimensions, okay? This is the highest, this being the lowest, okay? So then we also have the fourth and fifth dimension, okay? So all of these dimensions, remember, everything's connected. Everything's a chakra. From the individual, our bodies have blood cells, have vessels, have chakras, we have blood, we have fluid, we have all of these things in our body, right? That's the same thing in this larger scheme of things. That's what this earth is a body, okay? As above, so below. All right, so when it comes to the age of Cancer, it was restoring, a restoration period. Restoration from what? The fall of civilization, okay? The age of Leo. So the age of Leo. This is where I'll end, because we want to know where we were to know where we are going. We want to know where we've been to know where we are, okay? And so when it comes to the age of Leo, this was the events. This was before the fall. This was what created the fall of the of civilization, okay? And so I know it seems like, wow, why did that happen in Leo? Because it was a time where the souls that were incarnating here, they wanted to experience life where they had power over others. This is where the hierarchy was created, okay? So a hierarchy, this is where the royalty was, brought forth, this identity of being royal or being above, or there are peasants and things of that nature, right? The desire to experience the heart's desires. So the heart's desires are due to the ruling of the Leo energy. The Leo energy deals with the heart. Okay, now this is what one talks about when it comes to understanding the religions, the people that created the religions. These are the ideas that they had. The fall of man, where sin was truly dibbled and dabbled in, okay? So there was sin because of the physicality. So there was a lot of energy wanting to connect, wanting to experience, wanting to let go of the purity, okay? And it was advanced time. We had a lot of things going on in this period, but the fall created all of this restoring of humanity, okay? And a lot of that is just is basically from, which is, I'm not going to get into that on this video, but that was the age of Virgo, okay? The Virgin. Okay, so as a humanity, ultimately leaving the age of Virgo, the age of innocence, the age of purity, we lost this sense of sacredness. We lost this sense of self. And this is what correlates to all the written texts, the age of Gemini, right? All of the information that was stored from this age where it shifted us. We wanted to feel the all the desires that man could bring. We wanted to fulfill this physicality, okay? And so the age of Virgo is when we lost that innocence, all right? Now, we could go all the way on and on and on, you know, but I'm not going to do that today, okay? I'm not going to get into the ages before that because it's just not the right time to do that, okay? But I will say that during this time there was a fall in the way in which humans were incarnating. It was a major change, and it impacted. There was a lot of greed. There was a lot of this was a time where the planet was hijacked. If you believe in those things, right? The age of Leo. The age of Leo is a time where the planet was hijacked. Like they say, this is a time where there was this royal hierarchy, which is not of this earth. And I know I'm going to get all like people all nervous and things because it's like, not of this earth. We're all not of this earth. How did we get here? How did we get here? Were we born out of the ground like a tree? No, we were born out of the wombs, okay? The womb space. So it could be an argument all day about the creation of man. People can argue about that all day long, like till the crows come home. Like, what came first, the egg or the chicken or the egg? I mean, like, that doesn't matter. You know what I mean? What matters is the fact that we're here now. We're here to expose the knowledge and understanding. So now let me review ultimately. The age of Virgo was the last purity, innocence, and we had a very advanced technological society. This is the age of Atlantis. This is where the emerald tablets were, created into storing information on humanity's evolution. Now, the age of Leo brought forth the desire to feel this experience on a physical level based off pride and ego, based off the heart's desires, okay? And this is where the sins of our forefathers came from, the fall of our life in which we knew it. And this is where there were darker race beings that came to enslave for the, times to come. Now, there was a restoration period. There was this is a time where it was like a germination period. Think of it as the seeds in the ground ready to fertilize. It was where the restoration of home was, balance was being restored in families, because there was a lot of things going on in this time. The royalty, the hierarchies, they were trying to completely destroy the image of man and what the human being was here to experience. Now, when it comes to the age of Cancer, there was a restoration, going back to the home, going back to the roots, going back to the connection to source. There was a desire for humans that were incarnating in this time to reconnect to their intuition. So the incarnation cycles through the sun that would bring them back. So there are some people that came during a time before this when humans were created, okay? I'm not going to get into that. Maybe in the future I'll get into that, but right now I'm not. So when it comes to, the time here, when we're in the age of Cancer, this was a time where there was a restoration period, and it was kind of like a feeling of needing to get back to the roots and to restore itself and to revitalize itself, getting nourishment, okay? Because there was a complete fall, okay? Humanity had to re-evolve from nothing, no technology. We had to really just start from the blue. It was like a new blueprint. It was like everybody was like completely devastated from the changes, the change from the sins of our forefathers, right? They say in even in religious texts. So everything correlates. I just want people to know that it's important for people to really not be so judgmental when it comes to philosophy, religions. Incorporate all of it. In lies, there are, but have truths. And then there's ultimate truth. So having discernment, being able to take what is true to you and leaving the rest, okay? So when it comes to that Cancerian age being issued in, okay, so there we had 2,000 years. The grace period moved into the Age of Gemini, where where souls were incarnating, desiring an experience that would change the way we knew this planet, and new civilization. There was a lot of information. It was the age of information. It was an age and a time where there was a needing of a restructuring. So groups, so families and tribes and everything were separating, okay, forming anew. And there's a correlation to the Aquarian energy, because the Aquarian time we are separating too on an individual level. Like, yeah, we're at home, we're with our people, but we really connect to our soul group, right? And so, but this was a time where people were just wanting to experience. They wanted to get out of that feeling of women empowerment and all of that. Like, they were done with it. And this was the fall of the matriarch, issued in the time of Taurus. The time of Taurus was a time where people begin to really place value on what they had and really begin to become more materialistic with their with the things that they own, creating famine, creating deception, creating like a who's better than who, like a status energy. Like, you are how much you have, right? Your worth and your value, your family, your legacy, your lineage, it's all depending on your material things. And it becomes more physical, more physicality, people worshiping their freaking animals, just and praising these different forms and spirits to get more material wealth. That was literally the construct of the human mind at that time. These people were praying to their animals and praying to different spiritual forms, going outside of themselves to literally try to manifest or bring forth these different, marrying their families to other families that had wealth. It was just all about the times of what you had and your statue and your status. That issued in the rise of those darker forces, okay? They had been here all along, just sitting here observing the transformation that was happening. When it came to the age of Leo, when the royal energy came, which royal is neither good or bad. None of these terms really matter in higher realms, but when it comes to the royal, other race, right? And then the human urge to experience these physical pleasures and desires and having power and dominion over others, right? This is when it really broke out, because the royalty that came, they were in charge. They created these complete hierarchies. And this is where the patriarchal energy was created. And now in this time, there was an issuing out of enforcement of religions. Religion was law. So whereas Aries opposite would be law, right? Law on balance and harmony, right? These also correlates to ancient Egypt, okay? And a lot of the mythology in ancient Egypt, okay? So when it comes to weighing the feather to a heart, so this is the Libran energy. This is the age of Libra, right? Whereas the age of Aries was the patriarch, them enforcing this belief system and killing for it, literally killing for power and control, because they were all separating everyone. Everybody was separated. That Gemini desiring to explore, branch out, moving into this forms of famine, needing some needing some form of loan systems, or like a government type of energy, right? And so then that's where the patriarchal energy came in, these forms of fiat currency, all of these things. Moving into the age of Pisces, where people were completely blindfolded and submitted to their beliefs based from the wars and the controlling of the people and enslavement of the people. And then we were in the modern day slavery time, where, you know, that's where Martin Luther King and them, they were issuing in. I know in the black community, that's what they were. This is a micro on a macro. Like, now I'm in a detail, like in a very, like, what it takes. People usually live for, he didn't even live for a whole 100 years, but that little 60 years out of that 2,000 years period, there was a soul that incarnated with the desire to bring everyone together, but they were actually essentially moving and issuing in this patriarchal, dark-sided, controlling system in. And Pisces rules over illusion, and Pisces rules over makeup, this whole fantasy movies. So when we were ending the time of Pisces and entering into the age of Aquarius, is where technology was here. Well, technology has already been here. So yeah, like I was saying, when it comes to the age of Pisces, it's entering into the age of Aquarius with the technology. And the Indians, how they used to say those one-eyed devils, because they were influencing people. Like, they were literally programming people. It was a new way to program and enslave people. Like, we're in a time now where everybody's becoming aware and becoming affluent of this dark royal race of beings that want to control humanity and have been controlling humanity, and have been, you know, some ages very in sacred quietness, and some ages very broad, bright and bold, a lot of bloodshed. The age of Aries was a very tragic time, a lot of deaths, called for deaths that did not need to come about, that did not need to happen, but due to the times, due to, of course, that, you know, whole time period, that's what happened. And then moving into Pisces, age of Pisces, there was a lot of deaths then, there was a lot of enslavement. And so I want to just say that we're in the age of Aquarius. So the age of Aquarius, if you're still here, I just want to say thank you so much. I appreciate you for taking interest in this information. Knowledge is very important because it helps you to understand the whole. I just also want to let you guys know that you guys don't have to take anything what I said as truth. This is based on my research. This is based on my perception. This is based on my experiences, my understandings. I remember my past lives, some of them. I remember times. I have a very deep connection to the collective consciousness and the subconscious collective as well, the collective subconscious mind. So I'm very tapped into it. And so I resonate with this information. If this information resonates with you, then that means that you are a part of the group that is here to speak up and speak out and understand, or because we do have our observers here that are just a part of the collective, you know, like, hey, I'm here too, we all here, but, you know, I'm not going to say nothing. You know, everybody's not meant to speak out and speak up. Everybody's not built for that, and everybody doesn't want to do that. Everybody's soul didn't chose to come here and do that. So remember, souls are incarnating over these ages. We're into a new age, and we're ushering in the age of Aquarius. So there can either be the best outcome based on our consciousness awareness, our development and mind, and our learning lessons of humanity's evolution from the purest time to the corrupted time, and so on and so forth. Another disclaimer is the age of Leo. Moving forward, the next age of Leo will not be like the last age of Leo. Leo has its higher octave and its lower octave. The thing is, sadly to say, that the human race was taken over. Souls that incarnate here have to abide by the universal laws of the earth, which is the veil of forgetfulness, the laws of polarity, the laws of gender. So some souls come here and they don't want to even be the gender they are. They're like, no, I've been a woman for the last 2,000 years. I want to be a woman again. And they're a man. So then they're like, you know, not happy with that, and then that can affect a person's sexuality. So we're moving into an age of Aquarius where we'll have more understanding of that, or the androgynous energy as well. Male and female, will have more world leaders that are gay, bisexual, transsexual, whatever. A lot of things that are weird and strange will become normalized, and depending on how we issue in this time, meaning the people who are aware and enlightened, depending on how we're entering in this information, allowing our downloads to come through, and not fearing that we're weird or different, or we're going to lose our family members or our friends or people. Because people, if they were to hear my videos, they will be like, you're crazy. If I was to talk to, like, when I do, actually, because when I talk to people at home and stuff, like when I talk to people, they're like, it's only so far that they could go with me, and then they're like, mine's just kind of off, and I'm like, I don't care. It resonates with me. I know this is true to me, and my truth doesn't have to be anyone else's truth, because I know other people's truth. I love them. I will ride for them and everything, but I don't agree 100% with their mind. We can agree to disagree because perceptions are different. But ultimately, if we're on the same side, we're two different sides of the same coin, then hey, we're on the same page. A lot of people that are deaf, dumb, and blind will not survive this change and this transits. They will not survive the times that we're moving into, because it's scary to a lot of people. A lot of people are moving out of fear, and they're doing exactly what that dark royal breed of people want to do, okay? Want them to do. So, like I say, this information can be completely of entertainment, and I just have to give that disclaimer because, some people, it's just they're full of hatefulness. If they don't agree with you, they're like, you're wrong, and they hate you for it. It's like, what the fuck? Like, it makes no sense. But anyways, I hope that this information has been insightful for you, so that you can understand a little bit more about reincarnations and the times we're living in, and what it means, the Age of Aquarius overall. All right, you guys, thank you so much for tuning into Universal Love Law. Peace.